Jay Quellen. No Jay Quellen here? Balake. Where is Balake at? Ron.
Ron, right here, everyone. Thank you all for joining me and welcome back to the channel. Mike Rinder put up a post today on his blog that is just too good not to share because, you know, sometimes Scientology puts out some information intentionally, unintentionally that they don't seem to realize, exposes all of the lies they are telling about how fast they're expanding, their progress towards complete world domination, etc., etc. Now, in this case, the post in question, the information that was put out, this was put out just by an individual Scientologist, not by Scientology corporate. And so here's what Mike put on his blog. Now, this is a post by an individual Scientologist, but it was put up in one of the officially sanctioned secret Scientology Facebook groups. By the way, individual Scientologists are not allowed to create these Facebook groups without express authorization and oversight from Scientology, because as Scientology defines it, these Facebook groups are in fact Scientology mailing lists. That is how these Facebook groups are treated according to L. Ron Hubbard policy. So this is a post that was made by Andreas Cult in the secret Scientology group called Going Clear and OT. And he is telling the story of how he got into Scientology. And this is all. He's making a big announcement that he has finally achieved Scientology's state of clear. Now, for those of you who maybe you've done a deep dive already onto the subject of NXIVM, in NXIVM, what they call being fully integrated is what Scientology calls the state of clear. For any of you familiar with Buddhism, what Buddhism would call the state of Bodhi, Scientologists would say that is the equivalent of the state of clear. Of course, it is not, but this is just how Scientology thinks of it. Now, Andreas' personal story is not particularly important or interesting, but it is the photo that he posts of his clear bracelet. There are bracelets they sell in Scientology for those who are have attested to the state of clear. There's a different bracelet for those who have finished certain OT levels. There's an even different bracelet for anyone who has finished OT8. Now, this clear bracelet says clear number 75,906. Well, that's very interesting, and I'm sure having a number makes Andreas feel extremely special. It's just that this number, 75,906, this is a very problematic number for Scientology. And I'll just read for you how Mike Rinder explains it. He says, you know, Scientology constantly goes on about how they are clearing the planet. The reality, of course, is something entirely different. Here is a new clear. His clear number is 75,906. This is the grand total of all clears made since 1950, or at least since 1966, when they handed out the first clear bracelet to John McMaster, who was subsequently declared a suppressive person, far from the magical powers of a clear. 75,000 clears in 50 or so years is not going to clear Andorra. And for those of you like me who did not know what the hell Andorra was, it says here, Andorra is a tiny independent principality situated between France and Spain in the Pyrenees Mountains. It is known for its ski resorts and a tax haven status that encourages duty-free shopping. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I think the reason Mike used Andorra for this analogy is because the population of Andorra is 77,354. Okay, Mike, now I get it. Okay, so back to the blog post. 75,000 clears in 50 or so years is not going to clear Andorra. More than half of these clears are no longer clear, like McMaster, or are dead, let alone planet Earth. But the news is even bleaker. Things have been slowing down in the clearing department to a dribble. I did a post in December 2020, which included the latest clear bracelet at that time, number 74,106. It's been almost 2 years since then, and they have made a grand total of 1,800 clears in all of Scientology over 2 years. There are about 180 orgs, so that is 10 per org, or 5 clears a year each. More people win the lottery in a year than go clear, even in the cities that do have an org. The population of the world is increasing by about 200,000 people every day. Planetary clearing is so much further away now than it was yesterday, and orders of magnitude further away than it was a decade ago. In fact, the closest Scientology has ever been to achieving a cleared planet was the day the first clear was made. It has been losing ground ever since. They are gearing up for the big push. The delusion is, looks like a word is missing here. I'm going to guess that Mike meant to say the delusion is real. So let me give a bit of an explanation here of what does clearing the planet mean? What is the fact that Scientology is so clearly, literally losing ground every single day in trying to clear at least half of planet Earth? So what does it mean to clear the planet? It literally means getting at least half of the population of planet Earth up to Scientology's state of clear. I've heard from some people who think clearing the planet means like getting rid of most of the people on the planet. That's not what it means. And the fact that Scientology's definition of what it's trying to accomplish, if we say that what they're trying to accomplish is clearing the planet, and if we say that what that means is getting at least half of the population up to the level on Scientology's Bridge to Total Freedom, where they attain the state of clear, you can see how Scientology's sort of end game and the way they define it completely differentiates it from, let's just say, the world's major religions. So I'm going to bastardize this because I'm no student of, world religion and religious history. You have to forgive me, guys. I grew up in a cult. But let's say you're a Christian and you believe something like when Jesus comes back, there will be the rapture or something, and those who have been saved are saved, and those who have not are not and will burn forever for eternity in the pits of hell. It's almost like for those who are saved, good for you. And for those who aren't, sucks to be you, but it does not require everyone to be saved in order for the few to be saved. Scientology looks at this thing completely different. Scientology tells its members that it's not good enough for just you to have achieved the state of clear. Our job here on earth isn't done until you have helped get literally at least half of the population to have achieved the same state that you have achieved. So to a true believing Scientologist, it is very relevant whether Scientology is actually making progress towards that goal or not. Because Scientology does not see itself as a belief system. So if you are a staff member or a Sea Org member, it is very, very relevant to you and your life whether Scientology is actually making progress towards this goal or not. And one of the most spectacular feats of brainwashing or, whatever other word you want to use for it, programming or conditioning, is that David Miscavige has succeeded in convincing Scientologists that they are actually making progress towards this goal of clearing planet Earth. And even though something as obvious as, the answer to the question, well, how many people have we cleared so far? Even though the answer to that question is literally printed on these goddamn clear bracelets, and that even thinking about this number for 2 minutes would show you, would give you proof beyond a reasonable doubt that not only is Scientology not making progress towards this goal, they are actively losing ground every single day, even though that evidence is not only right in front of their eyes, but literally on their wrists. They yet are still somehow able to be convinced that they are actually making progress towards this goal. It really is a phenomenal study in brainwashing, or whatever you want to call it. And that's why I wanted to do this video about this post, because there are a lot of Scientologists who I know watch my channel. Perhaps if they're watching my channel, they are no longer a true believer. They're starting to question, they're starting to doubt, and thinking critically about actual statistical information like the number of clears that have been made since 1950. Thinking critically about things like this is a perfect example of what people start to do when they start to leave Scientology, when they start to peel that onion that is the prison of belief that is Scientology. And so anyway, I just wanted to highlight this point for all of you fence sitters out there. I don't say that derogatorily. For all of those who are starting to question, starting to think critically, starting to look at the real information that's out there about Scientology. Think about this one, guys. 75, almost 76,000 clears since 1950. You know, 3/4 of those people are either dead or out of Scientology or have been deattested or whatever. Just think about what that means, guys. Scientology is truly failing. It is failing in every respect. It is shrinking. It is losing members. They're having more trouble making money. The Scientology's PR is worse than it's ever been. Even Tom Cruise has stopped talking about Scientology. They have to rely on John Travolta to make offhand references to it here and there. Where's Tom Cruise, guys? Why has Tom Cruise stopped promoting Scientology? Probably because it is career suicide to do that. So anyway, Scientology's failing a million different ways. Eventually, soon, they will be prosecuted for felonies. Their tax-exempt status will be revoked. That is what I see happening in the next 5 to 10 years. And that will be in part due to Scientologists who leave and share information with the authorities about the various credit card fraud and bank fraud and wire fraud and things like that that very quickly get you into RICO territory. So I hope talking about subjects like this publicly on my channel does help accelerate the number of Scientologists who just go, you know what? Not only are we wasting our time, not only are we wasting our money, but this whole thing is one giant goddamn fraud, and I'm just not going to waste any more of my time or my money on it. So that's why I do this, folks. I hope this has been slightly educational and slightly entertaining. Thank you all for watching. Thanks to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe right